Well, hello. My name's Andy, and I live at Greenhow in Nidderdale. And we're looking at Pateley Bridge railway station, as was then and as is now. It's very difficult to somehow comprehend that there was a railway in Pateley Bridge, but the fact that it actually had two railway stations is probably even more surprising. Pateley Bridge East and Pateley Bridge West. And you're looking at some of the railway lines that were around Pateley Bridge at the time, and I'm just going to scroll this map now through to what some of you will realise is Hawksworth's Coal Yard. And you can see that once upon a time it was indeed a railway station. And you may wonder where a railway line from Pateley Bridge actually went. It's quite remarkable, I can tell you. I'm going to start at where the arrow is, which is almost right by where Hawksworths do have their coal bunkers right now. And we're going to fade over into a computer model that I've been building over the past couple of years to show what the railway might have been like. It's important to say that it's not actually supposed to be a perfect recreation. It's just something to get the feel of what it was like. And you're now looking at the kind of steam engine that would have run on the line. This is an Andrew Barclay 040 saddle tank locomotive, and they did use locomotives from this builder and of this style on the line. The railway that I've built you here is a very generic thing. It's actually a computer game in which you can build your own railway lines and go into as much detail as you like. And it is designed very much as a game. So, we're not looking for perfection here. We're looking for a kind of an overall impression of what the line might have been like. And there's Pateley Bridge Station, the station which is serves what was called the Mid Valley Light Railway. And as opposed to the North Eastern Railway, which was the railway station that you can find at the bottom of the car parks in central Pateley. And this locomotive is now reversing to pick up its cargo that it's going to take up to the terminus. And you've got Millfield Street coming up on your left now, and here there were stoneworks and a line that went right up the escarpment above Pateley Bridge, which was rope hauled to bring stone down there from there. Right, we're behind Millfield Street now, and as you'll see, there was a wood yard there, and we start picking up elements of that here, and there's a lot of buildings that have been built here. Sorry about the bang there. A lot of buildings that have been built here since then. And this would have been a very busy place, believe it or not. There was an awful lot going on. I'm almost tempted to keep the destination of this train secret. In fact, let's keep it secret, because there will be people who do not know where this railway was going. And believe me, when you find out where it was going, it's really, really interesting. So this railway did not belong to any normal railway company. There's Pateley Bridge, a lot smaller than it is these days. And it was built not by a railway company at all, but it was built by Bradford City Council, a metropolitan area that's more than 2 dales away. It's quite unusual that Bradford City Council decided to build this railway, and they paid for it and the whole thing. They started building it in the very first years of the 1900s, and first of all it was built in narrow gauge, and then they turned it into a standard gauge railway. And we're looking at it in sort of round about the 1930s, towards the end of its life, when because it was pulled up and all gone by 1940. They got rid of it about 1936, I think it ran its last services. So yeah, there's the railway station. It's still there. You can just see it fading into the background in the simulation. And we're now leaving Pateley Bridge and coming into something that is quite amazing to know that this was here. But there was a whole works railway yard here, and when you go there now, as I'll show you, there's not a trace of it. You know, there were coal stays, carriage sheds, utility huts, sidings, watering stations, and that's what it looks like now. You know, it's just a field, a beautiful field as well. They certainly knew how to take things away and leave unspoilt countryside behind them. It's absolutely incredible. Look at that. Just outside Pateley Bridge, right beside the River Nid. It's very difficult to model rivers in this programme, by the way, I have to say. So this is how the game normally works. The whole point of the game is to actually drive along through the scenery in this virtual steam locomotive. And I'm sorry that all the controls are at the bottom of the screen. So I'll tell you a bit about the procedure here. Is that this game was designed to drive the train like this. It wasn't really designed to give you a view of the landscape. That's just the sort of thing you can occasionally do to drop in. But I've had to keep the controls on the screen because I'm not keeping my eye on the engine. I'm busy waving the camera around, and this software really wasn't designed to do this thing. So it's been quite a difficult operation. I'm also running a lot faster than we would have been doing. Here we go, we're going through some woods now, and there are the woods as they are today, and we're at virtually exactly that point now. It's a favourite walk of myself and my partner Sally. We love to walk here, and there's some nature shots. And of course we're on the way to Wath Station, which is not far away at all, and these photographs are taken on the walk down the railway line, the disused railway line, between Pateley and Wath at the moment. You see Nidderdale stretching out above you, in front of you. You know, Nidderdale's a very beautiful place, and recreating something as complex as Nidderdale on a game software from 2007 is probably not the best way of doing it. But I just wanted to make it happen, so that's why I've done it, and that's why I'm sharing it with you, because you may find it interesting too. Suffice to say, the stations on this line probably served not more than a couple of hundred people, and so you have to understand that Bradford City Council did not build this railway line just to keep the people of Nidderdale happy. They putting the stations in and giving them a transportation system was kind of a bit of a bribe, and you'll see why later. So here we are arriving at Wath Railway Station, which of course is still there, the same building. All the stations on the building were built to the same design, so you can find the same building at Pateley Bridge, Ramsgill, Wath and Lofthouse. Here it is now, and the train's pulled into the loop that there was there, and there is another train coming back down that's going to pass us here. This was a very busy line, believe it or not. So I think there's a photograph coming up any second now of the station as it is today, taken from a different angle, I'm afraid. You can't just walk into a private house, but that's it. It's now got double glazing in, which of course it didn't back in these days. There were sidings here, and it was a passenger station. Here comes another train. It's another freight train, another small industrial type locomotive, this one badged with the LNER. Look, I think that I need to have a word about the railway accuracy here. I mean, railway enthusiasts are amongst the most picky people in the world about getting details right, and It's impossible to get the details right in this game simply because of the fact that you have to use so much generic stuff. I've done a bit of remodeling on this locomotive that we're driving now to make it more appropriate. But some people will have noticed that I'm using a British Railways Southern Region Guards van, which didn't even exist back in those days. And that's not really for any other reason than it's got a good camera on the back, so I can show you the line going backwards, as it were, at the back of the train. So that's why I've chosen that particular bit of rolling stock. This game is very much centred on railway history between 1955 and the present day, and not really much from the 1930s, to be fair. So I was quite lucky to find this locomotive, which a fellow modeller had built. So now we're on the way to probably one of the most beautiful places in the world. I'm sure you'll all agree with me, actually, if you're watching this video. We're coming up to Gowthwaite Reservoir and Gowthwaite Dam, and it's just been a favourite place of mine since I was a kid. I'm 60 years old now, and it never pales, doesn't its beauty? And the dam will just be coming up on our left, and we're about to see it, really. I'll just shut up and let this happen. And there it is. This railway, if they'd left this railway in place, can you imagine it? What an attraction this would have been. I think that its beauty surpasses that of the Festiniog railways, in fact of all of the railways in Wales, which are beautiful, absolutely, but I think this would have surpassed it. It would have been one of the biggest tourist attractions. The North Yorkshire Moors Railway would probably never have been going, because people would have just come here just to ride by this magnificent reservoir. I just get emotional when I'm thinking about Gowthwaite, to be honest. Just to let you know that myself and my partner, we often stop in the car at the little car park at the other side of the reservoir from where we are now, and there's a little viewing point. We go and watch the birds and all that kind of stuff from over there. And myself and her are in this model. Look at this. What a sight that must have been to be on the other side watching a train traverse the whole reservoir. What wouldn't I give to do that? You see, this is the back view from that Southern Region Guards van. It's quite useful for looking back at where you've just been, and you can see the dam just fading into the distance. That's an artistic license boathouse that I put there. And there's an artistic license boat in the middle of there. I have to be careful, or I might get my artistic license revoked. We'll see how it goes. The railway went onto an embankment here, which you can still see in various parts. I've walked this part many times, of course. Yes, even managed to find some birds flying about, because I mean, Gowthwaite without its bird life is not Gowthwaite, is it? So we're coming up towards Ramsgill, coming into the western end of the reservoir. Yeah. Build a few classic Yorkshire fences with the poles up. Now I've taken a bit of a few decisions about this area now, because I guess agriculture would have been a little bit different then, and I'd have thought there'd have been a lot more kind of market gardening in the area than there is these days. You know, unfortunately I can't guarantee whether I'm right or wrong about this kind of thing, but I would have imagined there'd have been quite a few small holdings and people growing small crops and that kind of stuff around this area. You just have to guess, really. That's all you can do with this kind of thing. Well, I suppose you could actually research it like a demon, but you know, I've got other things to do as well as build railways, I'm afraid. So that's it. Back in the cab again. I've switched off the controls just for a minute so that we can enjoy the scenery a bit more. And we're now approaching Ramsgill station, of course, and Ramsgill in the distance on at the head of the reservoir. Now, it's important to say, and I will show you actually, but Ramsgill is there. Of course, you can see the church and some of the buildings over there. It's very much distant scenery. You know, the idea is that you get all the effect from being in. It's what looks good in the cab of the locomotive that makes the game work. And of course, Ramsgill is very, very sparsely built when we get there. In the meantime, I'd better do some. I've got some driving to do, otherwise I'm going to collide with something when we reach Ramsgill station. So I'll be switching on. Here we go. Yeah, you can see there's another train ahead of us already. You can see it's smoking away in the platform. Yep. Here we go. It's to bring the train to a halt. And once again, like at Wath, there was a passing loop here, and another small yard. Very similar layout to Wath. As I say, the same kind of building. Same architect, same design. Very fine buildings, actually. And my generic model doesn't really do it as much justice as it should, because they are tremendous buildings. So we'll just have a little wander or fly about and have a look at the surrounding areas, and I'll show you the woefully inadequate Ramsgill. There's a street lamp down there. What's that doing? Okay. Here we go. So this is kind of Ramsgill with its pub and all that kind of, and the church there. But you know, it's not detailed or anything. It's just so that there's something there in the distance. And of course, the same's true of Middlesmore, which you'll probably catch a view of a bit later on. Okay, the other train's setting off, and got some bloke in the carriage. Oh, and we're off too. Okay, so next stop is Lofthouse, of course. The signalling on the line was pretty primitive, from what I can gather. They did have some, and a lot of these signals that you're seeing here are completely out of step with the time, but nobody's made any signals of the time for this particular simulator, so I just have to use them, because you need the signals, otherwise those trains that we've just passed would have collided with us. They would have crashed into us. There's no doubt about that at all, because it is a simulator, and those signals are not just there for scenery. They're there to actually control the traffic on this simulator. So you'll know, many of you will have travelled the road from Ramsgill to Lofthouse, and this is this area is quite prominent. The road that you would use is on the left of the picture. You can't see it from here. You will see that there's a farming complex here, which was there back then, although I can't say what the buildings were like or anything like that. The road that runs from Pateley Bridge all the way up to Lofthouse is fully modelled. It's all there. I couldn't not do it. I just had to do it because I know the road, but you can't see it from here. We will be crossing it after we've been through this cutting, because this railway did actually cross the main Nidderdale Road at that point. So now we're coming into the more open countryside. The reservoir's behind us, and we're just following the course of the Nidd again. And this is where I've done a little bit of assuming that there'd be a bit more market gardening around here than there is today, perhaps. I'm fairly certain I'll probably get some comments on the video that says yes there was, or no there wasn't, or whatever, but best guess. I love Lofthouse. There's something quite great about it. I mean, it's not that there's much there or anything. Here's the road. There we go. That's the road up to Lofthouse. Of course, I'm assuming that it wasn't always tarmacked. We just think that everything's been tarmacked as long as time itself, but of course it wasn't. Back in the 1930s, you wouldn't have seen that many cars around this area. Yeah, a few cows about. I know those are still there today. I have no idea what that crop is. It's just a generic crop, and I've just stuck it there because I thought, right, okay, somebody probably did grow crops here, and a few kind of allotment type things. An orchard, that's a really bit of artistic license. No idea whether that would have made the trip. But now you can see signs of Lofthouse in the future. Distance, I think. Here we go. Back down Nidderdale. Yes, it was in this field that I actually found that field. There is actually a relic of the railway. An old wagon is in there. So, yeah, this is Lofthouse, which was the second biggest station on the line. Quite an operation going on here. And this is the last public station on the line. This was where the railway went. If you bought a ticket on the Nidd Valley Light Railway, you were either going to Wath, you were going to Ramsgill, or you were going here or into Pateley Bridge from any of the others. And so for the public railway, this is the terminus, and it's where our journey today is going to finish in this video. But of course, those of you who are in the know about this will know that this was going to somewhere altogether different and probably altogether more spectacular. So we'll save that for another time. So once again, to look at this, I did manage to tart this engine up a little bit with Mid Valley Light Railway and Bradford City Council's logo on it, because nobody actually knows what colour the railway engines were. Some people say they were red and other people say they were green, but nobody ever took a colour picture, so how perhaps we'll never really know. I've named this engine Harold Botel because he wrote the most comprehensive book about the Mid Valley Railway, and I can recommend it to everybody. It's called Lesser Railways of the Yorkshire Dales, and I'm indebted to him for all the information I got, and able to build the track as accurately as I did. Okay, see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.